There you go. All right, friends, let's switch gears. Ready to switch? We are going to continue our conversation about natural disasters. Today, we are going to focus on two types of natural disasters. We're going to focus on wildfires and tornadoes. Wildfires are going to be our focus together. Tornadoes are going to be your focus for independent work. Remember, this week we are thinking about engineering solutions to lessen the damage caused by natural disasters. We can't prevent them. We can't look at a tornado and say, stop it, go away, and it listens. But we can think about how we can build our homes so that they can withstand tornadoes better. We can think about how we can create spaces that are going to be safe in those situations, okay? So we are thinking about how to engineer solutions to weather-related damage, all right? If you would please, you will see on your seesaw, you have a new assignment. It is called Solutions for Wildfires and Tornadoes. Our goal is to develop solutions that could be implemented to reduce the impact of weather-related hazards. Implemented means put into action, and reduce the impact means to lessen the damage. That says damaja, it's supposed to say damage. To reduce the impact of that damage, okay? So you are going to work on slide 1 with me, and that is a discussion point for us. As you know, humans cannot stop natural disasters from occurring, but humans can create solutions to lessen the damage done by them. Yesterday on your assignment from Generation Genius, you guys did a wonderful job with your diagrams. There were many different creative solutions to building a house that can withstand both lightning and flooding. I saw a lot of recurved seawalls. I saw walls of the house that were shaped as recurved seawalls. That was creative. I saw people utilizing stilts to elevate houses. I saw other people putting a wall of sandbags around their homes to prevent that flooding. So lots of great ideas, which makes me very excited for what solutions you are going to come up with as we continue on throughout the week. This is a video of wildfires explaining why they occur and where they occur. So we're going to take a look at this video to give you some background knowledge of what solution we are going to come up with together as a class to help stop damage from these wildfires. Here we go.
On average, wildfires burn up to 5 million acres of land in the United States each year. While they can start naturally, wildfires are often caused by humans, with devastating consequences. Wildfires are large, uncontrolled infernos that burn and quickly spread through wild landscapes. Types of wildfires may include forest, brush, and peatland fires, depending on the landscapes affected. Wildfires require 3 components known as the fire triangle: a heat source, fuel, and oxygen. Heat sources such as the sun, a hot bolt of lightning, or a smoldering match can supply enough heat to spark a fire. That spark then turns into flames when fuel or any flammable material is present. Dry, dead grasses, leaves, and trees are common fuels for wildfires, but so are living vegetation called green fuels. Pine trees and other evergreens contain flammable oils that can burn when exposed to a heat source. As the fuel burns, the resulting flames feed and thrive off of oxygen. When air movement or wind occurs, not only is more oxygen supplied to the fire, but it may also help transport and spread the flames. Since wildfires occur outdoors, they have a nearly endless supply of oxygen from our atmosphere to burn. Many wildfires are the result of natural causes. A warmer climate and weather patterns like El Niño can create the hot, dry conditions necessary for fires to erupt. However, about 90% of wildfires are caused by human activity, such as campfires that become uncontrollable, improperly handled cigarettes, or arson. Although wildfires occur worldwide, they are most common in the western United States. There, High temperatures, drought, and frequent lightning and thunderstorms can create the perfect setting for wildfires. While they can be destructive and sometimes even deadly for humans, wildfires do play an important role in nature. They can help a forest by removing harmful insects or diseased plants, and they can clear thick canopies to help sunshine reach seedlings on a forest floor. By being aware of the conditions necessary for wildfires to occur, they can be managed and prevented, thereby saving lives and making way for the positive effects of wildfires.
Alrighty, so this is a wildfire that we're going to be taking a look at. Turn my screen sharing off. I did not mean to. There we go. We're going to be following these directions today. We are going to read slides 4 through 9. It says, as you read, you are going to highlight the impact wildfires have on human life. Okay, so anytime it talks about the way humans are affected, we're going to highlight that. We are going to highlight the impact that wildfires have on the environment. So what happens to the surrounding area when a wildfire occurs? We are going to think about a solution that could contain the damages. So how could we keep wildfires contained to smaller areas? Okay. So if you would please go to slide 4, get a highlighter. Yellow probably isn't your best choice because this background is yellow. And look, I'm highlighting right now and you can barely see it. So change that highlighter color to a different color that will show up. And again, a reminder that you're going to highlight the impact that it has on humans and the environment. Okay, so anytime it talks about the damage to humans or the environment, we're going to highlight that. Okay, slide 4, follow along, please. Wildfires are uncontrolled fires that destroy a lot of land. Well, that right there is an environment issue. They destroy a lot of land. We know that our environment is our surrounding location. And if the land is destroyed, then the environment is destroyed. Camille, camera on, please. They happen all over the world. Many occur in the western United States. Hot weather and droughts cause more wildfires to spark. If you take a look at this map, you will see that there are 3 colors, green, yellow, and red. Those signify low risk for wildfires, medium risk for wildfires, and high risk for wildfires. You will notice that there is a lot of high risk over here on what we call the West Coast. Okay, the West Coast is also where we have a lot of desert type regions. So it would make sense that fires could occur there because it is hotter. Let's continue on to slide 5. Again, we are highlighting the impact on humans and the environment. Camille, camera on, please. Wildfires come from chemical reactions between heat, fuel, and oxygen. This is called the fire triangle. Heat is needed to start wildfires. It dries out the land and warms the air. Okay, so when a wildfire is going to happen, the land is dry and the air is warm or hot. That is an environmental impact. And again, we see this triangle that we saw in the video of things that we need in order for a wildfire to occur. Any questions so far? Anybody have an idea of how we could keep the damages from wildfires spreading? Anybody have an idea they're engineering in their head yet? William, what are your thoughts so far?
We could build, we could kind of like maybe like a sprinkler or something, or just something that has a sensor and it could sense when wildfires are going to happen and just put them out.
Okay, so like we have sprinklers inside of buildings, perhaps we could build a sprinkler network for forest areas where wildfires occur. Interesting. Any other solutions that people are thinking of so far? All right, let's continue on with slide 6. Again, you are highlighting the impact on humans and the environment. Fuel is any flammable material. Plants can be fuel. Homes can be fuel too. Fuel helps spread fires. If plants are burning, that is an impact on the environment. If homes are burning, that is an impact on humans. Air supplies oxygen to fires. Fuel and oxygen work together to create more heat to keep fires burning. Okay, so we're learning a lot about how they occur. Let's move on to slide 7. Wildfire damage. Wildfires hurt people. Many people lose homes. Okay, so there is some impact on humans. We're looking for impact on the environment as well. If we are hurt, that is an impact on us. It changes something about our condition. And if we lose our homes, that is also an impact as it changes something about our condition. Winds carry smoke hundreds of miles away. Smoky air is hard to breathe. It can make people sick. So breathing is something that humans need to do. And if wildfires cause smoke, that is an impact on our condition of being able to breathe. Being sick is also an impact on us. Over here next to this photograph, we have what is called a text feature of a profile or a text box. This is a photograph from a Camp File wildfire, and it occurred from November 8th through November 25th, 2018. So about 2.5 years ago, this wildfire occurred, and it burned for about 2 weeks. This happened in Paradise, California. And take a look at the impact of this. 13,972 homes were destroyed. Okay, 13,972 homes were destroyed. We only have about 700 students at Indian Creek. So if each student had a home, that would be the equivalent of about 20 Indian Creeks. Okay, so 20 Indian Creek students' homes. If we had 20 Indian Creeks full, that would be the amount of homes. 4,821 businesses and other buildings were also destroyed. More than 80 people lost their lives, and health concerns due to poor air quality happened, and schools had to close. Could not safely host school. So this wildfire caused a lot of impact to human life. People lost their lives, there were health concerns, and then schools also had to close. So these have a very large impact on the community around them. Anybody else thinking of any ideas of how we can prevent this damage or keep it less? Terrence?
Where would they sleep or live?
That would be a question that we would have to look at. Now, we have learned about the Red Cross and we've learned about FEMA that come in as a government organization and help, but I'm sure that there were still a lot of people who were without those items. Has anybody thought of any more?
Free pass at the hotel?
They might be able to, but it does say that businesses were destroyed. And so if the hotel was destroyed, then they're really in trouble, right? So it was a very very large crisis, a big situation problem. Williams so far has offered up the solution of creating a sprinkler system in the forest to help dampen the trees so that they cannot burn. Does anybody else have any other solutions that they're thinking of as we're reading? Levin, what could we do or engineer to lessen the damage?
We could set
So when there's a alarm on, we could have water hose from different ends of the forest, and plus the sprinklers, and there could be a trigger to alarm all the hoses and the sprinklers to spray out.
Okay, so you're adding a feature to William's plan by adding in water hoses as well on the ends of where these fires normally occur with an alarm. Kind of like a weatherman would give us a warning that something's coming. If there was an alarm and people knew the fire was happening, they could go work on preventing it from spreading. Great. Other solution ideas, Terrence?
Make a river, and so it can wet the soil up.
So if we had kind of like man-made waterways to break up the dryness inside of these areas. All right. Christopher, what idea do you have?
Like in the air, like somehow like buckets of water can be there, and like when the fire starts and it goes like because it's gonna be like a core, even when it gets to the bucket, it's gonna somehow drop on the fire. The
Oh, so kind of
water.
like when the fire gets to a certain place to burn, the water would automatically fall?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. William, another thought to add?
We could make like a lawn that has sprinklers or something that makes water fall, and it could fall so it could rain, kind of like in the rainforest. It could kind of rain so it doesn't get dry.
A man-made rainstorm. Interesting. All right, let's continue on with slide 8. I'm loving these ideas that are coming. We're going to get an opportunity to create them here in a minute. Again, we are highlighting the impact on humans and the environment. Wildfires can destroy forests and force animals to move. That is environmental impact. Fires burn soil and destroy its nutrients. That is another environmental impact. If this happened on farmland or on an area where animals have their crops that they eat, they can no longer do so because the soil, the nutrients inside of it have been destroyed. Wildfires put harmful gases in the air. They pollute rivers and water supplies with ash. More environmental impacts, harmful gases and pollution inside of rivers and water supplies. So now, Terrence, kind of going back to your point of where would they sleep? Now humans that are in these areas don't have access to fresh water either. That's why a lot of times with our governmental agencies that come in moments of crisis, you see them with water bottles because the water in the area that is fed through our sinks and stuff is no longer safe because it's been polluted so heavily that our filtration systems can't handle it. Slide 9 is our last slide that we're going to read together. Let's take a look at it. Again, we're highlighting the impact on humans and the environment. Wildfires can lead to flooding. During heavy rains, the burned ground cannot soak up the rain. Even small rainstorms over a burned area can result in flash floods. So not only is there wildfire, but when all the trees and the roots of the plants and the grasses are gone, the water just goes right over everything. So it picks up speed and it moves faster and faster. Whereas before it would hit a tree and slow down and then trickle through some grass and slow down. But now everything's gone. So that water just skates right across the top of that burned ground. So not only can these areas experience a devastating fire, but then right after they can experience a flood. Double the damage, really. Okay. Alrighty, we've gotten several solutions and ideas together. We're going to take a look at slide 10. This is where we're going to come up with our plan for the design that we could engineer. Leah, something to say?
Can you go back to slide 8?
There you are. So on slide 10, there are a series of questions that we're going to answer. This is what we're going to do together. And then you're going to do everything that we just did by yourself, but this time it's going to be about tornadoes. So I want you to make sure that you understand slide 10 as we're working. And if there's a piece of it that you don't understand, you need to let me know so that when you do your own today about tornadoes, you know what's going on. Okay? So look at slide 10. It says, complete the chart with your ideas of how to contain the damage caused by wildfires. Then draw a picture of your solution in the space below. Okay? First question up here is understanding the problem. What impact does this have on human life and the environment? Well, first of all, the weather hazard that we are working with is wildfires. So let's put that label up here next to the weather hazard. The weather hazard that we are working with in today's activity is wildfires. It asks, what impact does this have on human life and the environment? That is the reason that we were highlighting the impact on human life and the environment. So when we got to this question, we wouldn't have to say, I don't know. So we can go back and we can look at our text and we can see, oh yes, it destroys the land. It dries out the land. Homes are burning. People get sick. People die. Forests are destroyed. Animals have to move. Pollution in the river happens. Flooding can happen. So we've got all of our answers already. So we're going to add them in here. What impact does this have on human life and the environment? Homes are lost. And we're just going to list the things that we found from our highlighting, okay? People die or get sick. Land is burned. Animals have to move. Okay, so lots of impact here. Change that style so it's over there. There we go. And I'll go ahead and put that in the chat as well. Are there any questions about how I knew what the impact was? Any questions on why I typed those things or where I got that information? I'm going to lower hands because I just want questions right now. Okay. There we go. Now it says the solution. What is your idea? Write it in one sentence. So this is where you are going to put how you would solve the damage of wildfires. Remember, it's not preventing the wildfire in the first place. Okay, if lightning strikes on a very dry forest, we can't say, no, lightning, bad, don't do that. Okay, it's going to happen. We can't control that. What we can do is control how big the damage gets, how far it spreads, okay? So I'm going to take the ideas that we had and I'm going to combine them into one system, okay? So just like if you've ever been around an apartment complex or a neighborhood where the sprinklers pop up out of the ground and water everything, maybe we're going to create something like that. So what is your idea? Write it in one sentence. We could create a water system that drops water from the air and sprays up from the ground. Okay, so we're going to create a very intricate sprinkler system. That is what we are going to design. Place that in the chat for you.
Do we have to?
We do. So we are going to combine the ideas that were shared so far. We're going to create a water system that drops water from the air and sprays it up from the ground because we know that water is a great way to combat fire. Okay. So we took our idea and we put it in a sentence. What supplies are needed for your plan? All right, guys, if we're going to build this, what are some materials that we're going to need? Go ahead and unmute and share out, and I'll type as I hear them. What supplies are we going to need?
Sprinklers.
Rain catchers to catch the water. Good. How's it going to come out? What's it going to come out of?
A hole. Or we can make like a thick pipe and it could be curved.
Good. We might need some hose, some water hose. We might need some pipe. So we'll need a water hose. We'll
Barbed
need
wire.
pipes. What will we need barbed wire for?
So the animals don't come.
Okay, so maybe some fencing to protect from animals. Yep. So that the animals don't come
We
and
need
think that it's a water
buckets
fountain for
of
them.
water.
Yep, we need buckets to catch the water and to spread it out.
Trash cans of water.
Okay, so maybe we can say containers. Maybe we need some bigger containers in other places. So whether it's a bucket or a large trash can type container, we need large containers of water to catch it. Great. Let's go ahead and put that list on your slide. Okay, lots of things that we're going to need. I liked the idea of rain catchers, using the natural rain from the area. And if there's not going to be rain in the area, like if it occurs in a desert, then that's where we might need to provide the water. But if it is in an area like California that has forests that get rain in them, then we could absolutely catch the water there naturally and not have to pay for or buy water for this solution. Okay. So this is the planning page that we're working on. Now it says instructions. Write step-by-step directions to complete your plan. So there are 4 steps here. You might not need all 4, but you definitely need more than one. Okay. So step-by-step directions to complete your plan. So we are going to write down what people need to do to build this to make it work. Okay, and I don't know why this isn't getting smaller. Oh, it is getting smaller.
Do we have to put the same thing as you?
On this one, yes. On your tornado, you're going to be able to come up with your own idea. Justin.
Slow down a little bit.
I can. Thank you for letting me know. I will gladly pause.
Can you go faster?
Okay, so step-by-step directions to complete your plan. Let's think about this. First of all, if we're going to have this system, we're going to have to gather all of the materials that we need. Okay, we can't just start building something if we don't have the materials to be able to build yet. So that's going to be our step 1, is to gather all of the materials that we need. Okay, so step 1, gather the materials. All right, we got to gather the materials. And again, I'm placing this in the chat for you. Step 2 is we've got to start building, but we can't just say build it, right? If we just say build it, people are going to say, what's it? What am I creating? Okay, so we've got to give people step-by-step directions so that they know exactly what it is that they're going to be doing. Okay, so just a little bit larger here. So first things first, I am going to collect water in the containers. There's no sense creating a sprinkler system if we don't have water for them to get into. And again, I'm placing this information in the chat if you would like to copy and paste. Camille, I've got something in the chat for you, sis. Okay, once we have collected water in the containers, we've got to hook up the pipes to spread across the land. So we've got to build our network of piping so that it goes across the area where those fires are likely to occur. And again, that time I can think about that map that we saw. I'm going to change the page real quick. On slide 4, where it showed us where we were likely to have fires. So if we're going to think about building a network of sprinkler systems, I probably wouldn't want to put one right here in Indianapolis because it's completely white. There's not even a low risk for wildfires in Indianapolis. I'd want to focus my efforts on these red and yellow areas where a fire might actually occur. So I'm going to hook up pipes to spread across the land. So again, my step-by-step plan is just detailed instructions for how people are going to build this or create it, okay? We can't just say, build it, okay? People have to know what it is that we're composing. So once we've gathered the materials, we've collected water, we've hooked up pipes to spread across the land, we are going to, I'm going to make this text box a little bit smaller. 1 second, please. Set up a trigger to release water when there is a fire. Okay, we talked about an alarm or a trigger that's going to know when there is a fire, and then that's what will turn on those sprinkler systems. Okay, so we can set up a trigger to release water when there is a fire. Levin, something to say?
Something's wrong with my seesaw right now. It's not I'm pulling on my text box, but it's not letting me use it.
Okay, you can check it as a draft and then reopen it and see if that resets it. And then if it doesn't, I will post this to you on Seesaw so that you can see it when it starts working. Okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. Any questions about what we've done so far? Because remember, you're going to be doing this on your own about tornadoes. Any questions about how the form works, the process, where we're getting our ideas? Okay. The final step is explain. How do you know your solution will work? Justify it in 2 to 3 sentences. Okay, so this is where we're going to explain how we know this is a good idea. Okay, so we've all already said this. We know that water puts out fires. Okay, water fights fires. Wet things don't burn. We're going to add more, but you can start with that. Water fights fires. Wet things don't burn.
Yeah, I tried it and it didn't work, Miss Issa.
Okay, I'll make sure I post this to you, Levin. I'm sorry. You can also hop on office hours with, yeah, and I can share the screen to you if you need it. Okay.
Okay. I redrafted it.
Alrighty, no problem. So water fights fires, wet things don't burn. Let's add some more. Sprinkler systems work in buildings, so we will use them in forests as well. Okay, so one of our justifications is we've seen this work, right? We're just taking the same idea and we're moving it outdoors. We've seen it work in buildings. Now we're just going to see if it can work outside. Oh, and I always put 2 R's in forest and it's only 1. It's because I had a friend named Alexander Forrest and he had 2 R's in his last name. So I always get confused. So waters fight fires. Wet things don't burn. Sprinkler systems work in buildings, so we will use them. Good thing I edited my writing. Them in the forest as well. Okay. So now we have come up with our engineering plan. Okay. This is our plan for what we are going to build. Remember, on Friday, you are actually going to be completing a STEM challenge where you are building a solution to a weather hazard. We're going to practice planning or coming up with ideas for those throughout this week. Any questions on any part of what we did, how we got the ideas, where the information came from, anything at all? Terrence.
Are we gonna do the work independently?
On tornadoes, yes, that's what we're getting ready to go over the directions for.
Do we do the same thing? It's just tornadoes.
Yep, you're going to follow the exact same process. You're going to read and highlight impact on people and environment. You're going to come up with a solution. Okay. All righty. So let's take a look at your independent work directions. They're on slide 11. Before you read, you're going to watch the video on slide 12 to build background knowledge. So slide 12 has a video about tornadoes. Okay, don't go down the rabbit hole of YouTube. Watch this video and come back to your work, okay? It'll suggest others and you can watch those after your work, but don't lose your work time. Then it says, as you read, you're going to highlight the impact that tornadoes have on human life. You're going to highlight the impact that tornadoes have on the environment. As you're reading, you're going to be thinking about solutions that would contain the damage. Okay, not stop the tornado. You can't do that. We don't have that power, but we do have the power to make the damage less. After you read, you're going to come up with a possible solution to contain the damages of tornadoes by filling in the chart on slide 20. The chart on slide 20 is exactly the same, only this time it's about tornadoes, not wildfires. You will answer all 5 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. As you're working on your solution, I want you to imagine that you can use anything that exists in the world. You don't need to make it about only things that you have in your house. You can pretend like you have all the money in the world to buy anything that you need to buy. Okay. But you're going to come up with a solution here to create a way to contain the damages caused by tornadoes. Okay, that is your independent work today. Watch the video, read and highlight the texts, and then complete your chart. I am taking 2 grades on this. The first grade is a reading grade. I am going to look at the information that you highlight, and I'm going to see if it is about humans and the environment. Okay, that's going to be a comprehension grade. The second grade that I am taking is for science. Are you able to come up with a possible solution? Okay, so 2 grades on this today. What are you highlighting? And the solution that you are creating. That is your task for today.